Okay, I think we are ready to go. If any others come in, I will let you know. But welcome, everyone. Just a quick housekeeping before I turn it over to our host, Tanya Triplett. Just remember this session is being recorded for record keeping, quality assurance, and training purposes. It will be made available on the Washington County Business Challenge Facebook page and the Washington County Challenge YouTube channel. And remember, you've got to keep your videos on, but please keep muted. If you're not speaking, please stay muted, and we greatly appreciate that. And I will turn it over to Tanya Triplett with the town of Abingdon. It's all yours.
Thank you, guys. I am so excited about today's session. We have a wealth of knowledge from three of the most impressive marketing folks that I know. So happy that they could join us. I'm going to give you a little introduction to all three of them. So as they're finishing up, the next one can just roll in. So our first presenter is Elizabeth Gardner. Elizabeth is a Stanford graduate, a certified natural chef, a master gardener, and has a teaching credential and master's degree in education. An entrepreneur at heart, she has started and sold 2 businesses in California and is currently the co-owner of Abingdon Vineyards. She is working on her 4th business, Full Bloom Farmhouse. She is excited to share her passions for community building, event planning, marketing, and design with you. Elizabeth is also offering a free hour phone consultation to the Small Business Challenge participants. So at the end of her presentation tonight, she will give you her contact information. Thank you, Elizabeth. Our next presenter after Elizabeth will be Hanna Eichin. So excited to have Hanna here. Hanna was actually the 2020 Small Business Challenge winner. So excited for Hanna. She opened up in March during the pandemic, so we hope that her business challenge money was put to good use to help her out during that difficult time. Hanna is the owner of Spot of Color in Abingdon and is on the board of directors for Abingdon Main Street, a nonprofit organization that aims to help revitalize our downtown community. Her background in theater and love of organization has served her well in starting her own business, and she is eager to share her knowledge about content calendars and social media posting scheduling with everyone here. Thanks, Hanna. Our third presenter she just joined us. Hey, Amanda. It's Amanda Livingston. Amanda was with the Abingdon Tourism Department for many, many years before she moved on to Smith County as the Director of Tourism in January of this year. She is a certified tourism marketing professional and a member of the American Advertising Federation and a big data nerd. We miss Amanda already in Abingdon, but hope she's doing well in Smith County. So we'll go ahead and let Elizabeth get started.
Okay,
all
Elizabeth,
right.
I'll bring up your PowerPoint.
Sure. So first of all, I just want to welcome everyone. I'm so excited for all of you in this program, and I wish all of you the utmost success. And as Tanya mentioned, I'm more than happy to speak with you guys and offering a free hour phone consultation. However I could be of service to you, happy to brainstorm or give marketing ideas or any other way I can help. I would love to be of assistance. So go ahead and go to the next slide here. So I am just going to kind of give you a little quick overview of some of the little tips and tricks that I have. So on the screen now are my 3 Instagram pages, my 3 business ones. So the first is Abingdon Vineyards, and so these are all Instagram, which I love Instagram. I'm a very visual person, studied photography. And so I'm really, I do love Instagram. So Abingdon Vineyards. So I started the Instagram about 2.5 years ago now. So we have a little over 10,000 followers. The Food and Farm Tours is the business I started 9 years ago in California. So you can see there's a little over 22,000 followers on that one. I sold that business, coming up on 2 years ago. So when we first bought the vineyard, I was running both businesses, but I sold that one to kind of devote more time and resources to the vineyard. And then the third one, which I haven't launched yet. Nobody really knows about this business yet, except y'all. Full Bloom Farmhouse. So this is a farm I bought. It's only about a mile from the vineyard. And so has been my dream for I would say maybe 8 years now to own a farm and to have a venue. So I was back in California, I was doing food and farm tours, and I worked with 40 different farmers leading tours to all these wonderful places. But I was dreaming of having a farm of my own where I could have a venue. So I want to do retreats and weddings and also a lot of classes. As Tanya mentioned, I'm a master gardener and a chef. And so, and I got my master's in education. So I kind of want to weave all these things together onto the farm to offer all sorts of events and experiences. So that will slowly grow over the next few years. So anyway, I haven't launched that business yet. But the first thing I do usually when I start a business, so I started the Instagram last summer. So this is just kind of a way for me to kind of plant the seeds of a new business and a new idea. So even if you haven't launched your business yet, I encourage you to at least start an Instagram, get your website domain, and at least, these are kind of like very free or inexpensive ways to just like start developing your brand and your ideas and some of your photos and things like that. So anyway, so you can check out any of those if you want to get a feel for like kind of the marketing style. And I don't, use fancy filters or anything like that. But I do try to take, high quality photos, which I can talk a little bit more about later. So if you want to go to the next one, please. Okay. So these are kind of just like the basics of what you want to kind of start with. So as far as website, you got to have a website. So definitely you want to kind of start there. I use Weebly, which is just like a do-it-yourself drag and drop situation. And Square purchased Weebly, which is why I used to use a couple. I've used several, but I like it. It's if you're doing something basic, you want to do it yourself, like still the winery website is on Weebly and it's super basic, but you don't need anything fancy. You just need the information there. You need to just look, professional enough to where people, oh, okay, this is legitimate business. So I recommend Weebly. And like I said, keep it simple. Even if you just have a single page, one landing page, which is the basic information, just to have some online presence, like start there, just get one simple front page, and then you can slowly add additional pages. And definitely, want good quality photos. That's important. But I pretty much do everything on my iPhone. And occasionally, it's really nice to have professional photographs. I tend to just try to either trade or, I've kind of, done little partnerships here and there to get some professional shots, since we've been kind of on a shoestring budget. So I mostly make do with my iPhone and get professional shots when I can. So professional logos also a must. We started with a different logo and I've changed over now to the truck logo for the vineyard and really happy with that. And so sometimes it takes a while, to find like the right logo for your business, but it's definitely worth investing. If you can't do it yourself, it's worth investing, a graphic designer to help you with that concept. All right. Social media. I already told you I love Instagram. I just think it's a great place for content because you can get like basically in one shot, you can kind of see what the business is about, right? And you can kind of get a glimpse of the brand and what they're about. So for that, I'm saying that, that's why photo quality is important. Again, I just use my iPhone. I pretty much do everything in portrait mode because I just love that aspect. So when I got a new phone, I said, I want the smallest iPhone with portrait mode. And that was my necessity. So I am really happy with that. And you can get some really good quality photos that way. So we at the Vineyard aim to do 1 to 2 posts per day. And we kind of have a little bit of a kind of plan. Like we've kind of developed some things like, okay, every Wednesday is Wine Wednesday. We're going to do like some sort of like little, shot of wine and, like $2 off or something like that. And then we've been doing once a week, we select someone else's photograph that they take at the winery. So we're always looking for people who've tagged us, and then we give them a shout out, post that, and give them 20% off their next visit. We did a thing called Town Treasures Tuesdays, where we're like promoting other businesses in the area. And then usually, Thursday, Friday, we're talking about like what's going on the weekend. And so we kind of have like a little bit of a rough outline, but we're always kind of like, well, what should we do? What should we do? So there's some of it is kind of on the fly and kind of depending what's going on. If we're making something in the winery, we might post something about that. So as far as like content, so every marketing class that I've ever taken, it's all about making your customer the hero. So it's not really, it's about what are you offering your customer. So if people are looking at your post, like, you want them to like kind of envision themselves, ooh, I could see myself there, or I want that, or like you kind of, so when I'm like, making, at least the text, or, I try to keep it really simple and just say, oh, here, come enjoy your day by the stream, or blah, blah, or when, if you have artwork, oh, this would look great on your wall, or, trying to think what is it that the entry point for your customer and what is it doing for them, right? So you want to kind of draw them in, but it's about your customer. It's not really so much, what you're selling, but how is what you're selling going to make their lives better? And so we're always kind of trying to focus on that. Like, what can we offer our guests, that they would enjoy? Hashtags. Okay. So I pretty much just chose 15 hashtags that relate to the winery, and I just post them in a comment. So if you go onto the winery Instagram, you can see how I set it up. You do like a bunch of dots, and then you put all your hashtags, and I just keep them, like I just cut and paste them. I keep them on my notes, and I just cut and paste them and put them in the comments. Cause I don't like to put them up because I want to keep it super simple. I don't want it to be like salesy and advertising. So I didn't really necessarily, we've been doing a little more hashtags recently because we're doing like hashtag, Town Tuesday or hashtag Wine Wednesday. So we're doing some like up in the main caption, but most of it we just hide in the comments. And so, yeah, I just kind of picked 15 that relate. Sometimes we'll mix it up, but I really, I try to keep it as simple as possible. And I don't have a whole lot of time to be like sitting and hashtagging every post. So, stories. So we're not as good about stories as we should be, but, my goal again would be to post, maybe 2 stories per day. And that's kind of more, it doesn't have to be as polished, just kind of fun. Oh, look what's going on, or look how pretty the river looks today, or whatever, so those are fun, and those give like people a glimpse as to like, kind of the everyday life, or just like makes it a little more real, right? So people appreciate that, kind of getting a little behind the scenes. Community over competition. So really, I've, like I said, been trying to like as many people as you can tag, like that's going to be beneficial, right? So we're always looking for ways to, partner with other businesses and, mention them or give shout outs, or so that helps because helps you in front of, not only helps the community and support other business, but it also helps to get more eyes on your profile. Okay, so then a few things to boost your numbers. So Jumper Media, I debated about whether to tell you all about this because it's kind of like my dirty little secret, but I use this company called Jumper Media. And basically what they do is they go in your account, they just like a bunch of people. So they go and like a ton of accounts that are similar to yours. And so then when people say, oh, I just got followed by Abingdon Vineyards, then they turn around and follow you. And then they have kind of these algorithms where you don't want to go in and just follow everybody. There's some sort of algorithm where you want to be following a certain number of people. So they do unfollow some people. And so they unfollow, and it works surprisingly well. So I used it with food and farm tours, and it was really successful. And then during COVID, they had an offer, and it was $99 per month or something. It was some sort of special. So I was oh, I'll take it. So I did it for the vineyard, and we've already grown from I had just of natural stuff. I think when I started this last summer, I had maybe 2,500 followers. And so now we're up over to 10,000 followers. So it works. And of course, if you had the time to do it yourself, you could. But anyway, so that's kind of a little dirty secret that helps get your numbers up. And then contests, giveaways. So one really effective thing, which I haven't utilized very much, I want to, but if you partner with a few other businesses, let's say you want to do a giveaway. So let's say we're doing a basket, right? And we want to give away some Wolf Hills coffee and whatnot, and so you kind of all go in together and say, hey, we're doing a business giveaway. If you like all 5 of these businesses, you'll be, and tag someone who might want this, then you can be entered into this drawing to win this basket, right? So then all 5 businesses benefit because then they post it in front of their audience. And so then all the other businesses benefit, and you can get a bunch more likes that way. So, so that's a kind of and a fun thing to do as well. So most of our social media, so we really pretty much only do Instagram and Facebook, just because I feel those are the core, and I don't have a whole lot of free time. So I'm just doing the basics, and, I don't have a TikTok account. I don't do, LinkedIn or any of that stuff. So, I kind of just try to focus my energy on just the simple things I know will work. So all of our posts, we post on Instagram, it feeds into Facebook. There are some exceptions, which if you wouldn't mind, Sandy, please, the next slide. There's some exceptions, so Facebook, okay? Facebook events are really key. So we will go onto Facebook and create the events. And those are ones that you can easily share and boost as well. So we do utilize the Facebook boosting quite a bit. What's great about that is that you can target exactly who you want, right? So you can say, I want people who are interested in wine within 40 miles of here. And I want them to be between the age of this and this. And so it's very specific. And so we've had really good results with that. And then the other way we'll use Facebook is there's a lot of articles. Thanks, Amanda. She's been great at getting a lot of press for and travel writers to write about Abingdon, right? So we'll share those articles, or people a lot of times will recommend Abingdon Vineyards on Facebook. So we'll share those. So we still, we're still active on Facebook, but most of our content is fed through Instagram. All right. So email blasts. So I use Square. So we use Square as our point of sale system. And so built in there, they have a marketing, they call it Square marketing. And basically it's an email blast situation. So, which works well because we can collect at our point of sales, people have the option after they do a transaction, do you want to join our mailing list? So they can type in their email right there. We also have a book right when you walk in the winery. Would you like to join our email list? So, look for ways to collect emails. And then, so I aim to do one email blast a week. Usually it's like on Thursday, talking about what's coming up on the weekend. I try to just do one a week. And it's really simple. It's kind of just to like build it yourself. Okay, I want to put a photo here and a title here and stuff like that. So a lot of them get bounced. I'd say probably more than half of them, because they end up going to people's marketing folder. And I don't know if there's a good way around that or not, but I haven't looked in it too in depth, but we still are able to reach a lot of people that way. Okay, so Wolf Whistle and Chamber of Commerce. Okay, so these are two emails that go out. Well, the Wolf Whistle, correct me if I'm wrong, Tanya, I think it's once a week. Chamber of Commerce every other week. And so what we'll do is create a flyer like the one you see here, the January music calendar, right? So we'll do a flyer for the whole month. Okay, this is what you can expect. And so we'll send those to the Chamber of Commerce and the Wolf Whistle, and they'll put it out to their email groups, which is helpful. So print, there's definitely still a place, for some print advertising. We don't necessarily do print advertising in the sense of like buying ads. Like that's never really worked out well for me personally. But it is important to have either wrap cards or postcards that you can leave at other businesses. And sometimes it's just really nice to have something tangible that represents your brand with beautiful photographs. So I do think that's worth doing. And there are several places like around town where you can put wrap cards or postcards. And business cards are nice, right? If you meet people, you're networking, you want to be able to give them something and to remember you by and to reach out to you. Okay, next one, Sandy, please. Okay, so I was talking a lot about how I think just community building is really important, especially in small towns, but just in general, a lot of business is about relationships, and especially in small towns like this, you want to build each other up and kind of, work together as much as possible, promote other businesses. And so, I'd like to try to collaborate whenever I can. So we added a partners page on our website, which links, all the other businesses in town. So we have like an eat section, a stay section, a shop section. So that people who are coming to visit then can kind of get ideas of, oh, where should I stay? Where should I eat? And where else should we go? So that also encourages people to just like spend more time here or plan a weekend here. And then also it's helpful, having links to other businesses is like also good for your SEO. So that's helpful. Special events. So we've tried to have, guest chefs in, guest artists, art shows, trying to sell local stuff in our tasting room. So we want to just support local as much as possible. So gift baskets, there's a shot of our Valentine's one. So we were trying to like get a little something from a bunch of the shops in Abingdon. So again, that allows us to like tag everyone and, hopefully people share it on their page. And so again, just like trying to support local and, let's see, rack cards. So again, putting rack cards at other people's businesses and having rack cards at the winery to promote others. A coupon book. Okay, so this is a brand new idea I haven't shared with anyone. So hot off the presses. I haven't really even told my team about it. But so you can see a little picture of it. So we have a wine club. So we have right now like 140 members, and they get 6 bottles of wine every 3 months. And we try to do like a little something special with each one. And so I've been trying to think of how can I promote other local businesses and provide like something of value to the wine club. So I came up with this idea. Oh, like, I don't know if you remember these coupon books, like 20 years ago, I was like obsessed with them. And so, but anyway, I thought, well, gosh, if we create a little coupon book and just gave like, 15% off, like, all these different places that agreed to do it, we could that would drive our wine club members, which would be like, ideal clients to all these people. So it would give them an excuse to go to all these local businesses. So it would be, a great opportunity for kind of like cross marketing. So anyway, I'm going to test out that idea and see if it flies, but I'm excited about it. And okay, Town Tuesday posts, I mentioned that. So we're always trying to seek out other businesses. How can we do shout outs and like promote others? Trade. So I do kind of a lot of trade. So this, for example, like this photograph of the wine bottles, I could not get, there's no way I could get a photograph that good with my iPhone. So again, every once in a while, it's like worth seeking out professionals. And again, I do use like professional graphic designers too. Every once in a while, you've got to seek out, it's worth getting a better quality product. So we try to trade as much as we can. Like I said, we're kind of been doing it on a shoestring. So that helps. And so blogs. Okay. Every marketing class I've ever said says you have to have a blog. It helps with SEO, blah, blah. I've never had the bandwidth to do it. But one thing that we have done is reached out to other bloggers, like wine bloggers. We haven't utilized this as much as I would have liked to, but we have, or Instagram influencers or what people like, let's say in whatever industry you're in, right? And you can introduce yourself and say, hey, I'm so-and-so. I'd love to send you, we'll say, hey, can we send you a couple bottles of wine and maybe you'll write about us. And so occasionally it works, occasionally it doesn't, but it's worth kind of seeking out people who, are somewhat well known in the industry and maybe they like your product and want to write a blog about it. So that's something that we've done and I would like to do more of. All right, next one, please. Okay, so a rising tide lifts all boats, right? So, the more successful that all of you could be and all of our local business can be, it benefits us all. And so that's why I'm really just a big proponent of supporting other businesses and helping other business owners. So I want to offer the free hour phone consultation that if anyone wants some tips or just bounce ideas or talk about anything business related, I'd be happy to chat with you. And if it's a good fit, I'm doing some consultation on the side. So if it's a good fit, we could possibly be more long-term. So if you're interested, this is my personal email, elizabeth.hill.gardner@gmail.com. So feel free to drop me a line and say, hey, love to take you up on your phone offer and we'll just set up a time and we can chat. So that is it in a nutshell. And I'm happy to take, I don't know if you guys are open to questions, but I'm happy to answer any questions if people have them.
I think we have time for some questions if you guys have any.
Okay. I can get this set up.
Elizabeth, I have a question.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty new to Instagram, and on all 3 pages, it has those circles underneath, like your sort of bio. Is that the stories?
Yeah. So
okay.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Okay. So what you do is you create a story, and it only lasts for 24 hours, but it gets archived.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So when you want to create, those are called highlights, those circles, right? So you'll see there's like a little if you create a page, it'll have like a little circle with a plus sign, right? Add highlights. Right. So you click on that and then it'll show you all the stories that you've ever posted and you can pick a few of them. And so those are really important. I just started doing those this last summer. I resisted stories for many years and finally I'm on the story train. So those basically people say, well, try to create stories. And basically those are like a mini website, right? So you try to pick things like your highlights because they're featured right at the top, and so they are important and people click on them and they can see this like little mini movie reel of like, what are you about? And so you can kind of select, make different highlights in different categories. And those are kind of things that you want to feature. So those, I think they're important and definitely worth doing. And I literally just started doing them, but I think they're effective and worth doing.
So I've looked at a couple of other consignment shops, and they're really good because it'll sort of say like how we work and this and that. But most of them are videos, but they don't have to be video, correct?
They don't have to be videos. It can be a still, and then you just write in.
Okay.
I resisted video for a long time, but now, it's like, okay, I've kind of gotten into it. So,
Right.
I mean, even if it's just, people do like movement like that, it kind of picks up their eyes. So,
Sure.
I do everything with my iPhone. So even if it's just like the scroll or you pan in on what it is you're selling or
Sure.
whatever it is, and then you write on top of it, it's X amount. And so even if you were like wanting to, highlight certain things that you were selling, like special deal today, and
Right.
so it does, it does work. And then people from there can direct message you, like, from a story. They'll be like, I want it, So
Right. Cool.
I think it is, it's worth. It's kind of like, it took me a long time to be like, oh, okay, fine, so because doing, starting new things is kind of intimidating sometimes.
Yeah.
And so it took me a while.
Is.
Yeah, it took me a while to get on there, even though like, I do love Instagram, but still it was like, there was a lot of, I had a lot of resistance. So,
right.
But I think it's worth just trying out. And, I started, but I was just like, started practicing just on my private Instagram. And then I kind of like, oh, this isn't that hard. Like, why did I resist for so long? So it's worth just trying it out. And it's once you get the hang of it, it's,
it just feels, pretty... I think it feels so major. You know what I mean? Like when you see other people's, like it feels, like you said, so intimidating, but I'm going to give it a go. But thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Of course. Good luck.
Any other questions for Elizabeth?
I think Don had his hand up.
Well, how many outlets are too many, or posts are too many, or can you overwhelm people with your amount of Instagram? I'm an excitable person, and sometimes I feel like maybe I hit too many.
Yeah, I mean, you just don't want to overwhelm your audience. Like, I've definitely unfollowed people. I'm just like, come on, like, I don't want you like filling up my feed. So I mean, you can overdo it. So our goal, is like, well, we'll do 1 or 2 a day. If there's a lot going on, we'll do 3 or 4, but not on the regular. And yeah, I personally think you can do too many stories. Like, I have friends, they have successful businesses, but in one time they'll have like 40 stories. And I'm just like, I'm not going to wait here and like scroll, through all that. So, I probably would say maybe no more than, I don't know, 5 or 6 stories a day, because then it's like doable for people. And, but I press through a lot, I just like, come on, let's get to it. And so I'll just, if you tap the screen once, it'll skip to the next story. So, sometimes I'll just do that. I just kind of want to get through it and see. But yeah, I have been overwhelmed by some people's feed, and I just kind of get annoyed, and sometimes I'll unfollow them because, they're blocking up my feed. So yeah, there's definitely a balance.
All right. Well, you guys have Elizabeth's email address, so feel free to reach out if you need some help from her, and we'll move on to Hanna. Thank you again, Elizabeth, for joining us tonight. We really appreciate you.
Oh, of course. I'm happy to be here. Good luck to all of you. I hope you're wildly successful, and I'm here to help if anyone has any questions. I'd be happy to share whatever knowledge I have. So thank y'all.
And we can share Elizabeth and the other presenters' slides. I'm sure Nita can send them out tomorrow.
Okay, I guess it's my turn, huh? Let's see if I can get this up and running for you. This might get into a little bit more detail than a lot of you might be used to on social media kind of stuff. So if you get super lost, please like raise your hand or put something in the chat and I can slow down and kind of help you out. Come on. All right, can you all see that?
Sure can.
Great. It's been a while since I've done that. All right, so social media, content calendars, and content scheduling. This is something that I had always planned on doing with my business, but with the Small Business Development Center, they actually have a marketing program, which has been super helpful for me to keep up with all of my marketing stuff. And they pushed me to really do this, and I'm so glad they did, because I kept putting it off, and it was awesome. So if you need help with marketing, you should talk to Cindy and Patrick. All right. So what exactly is a content calendar? It's basically a calendar, a place that you put everything that you might want to share with your consumers, customers, or followers. It can either be in a calendar format, or it can be in a Gantt chart format. If you're not familiar with the Gantt chart, I suggest you look them up. They're really cool. I'm not going to cover much of that because it plans out more weekly. And since I post on social media daily, that's not helpful for me. So I use a calendar format. These include all forms of content, your videos, your blog posts, your vlogs, if you're doing video blogs, any kind of content that you want to get out to your followers, as well as your email marketing. You can put that on there as well and keep up with all of that kind of stuff. It really keeps your postings consistent and organized, which is really helpful when you're wearing 10 other hats, trying to run around, do accounting and all these other things for your business. I just find that it really keeps my brand looking very polished, because I don't have time to always be like creating a post to throw onto Facebook or Instagram. You can plan your content calendar out weekly, monthly, or yearly. It's up to you. I started out doing it weekly just to get my toes wet and kind of figure out how it works. I now plan it out 3 months in advance. So I've got all of my social media posts planned out even into April now. But it's up to you. If you're not up to that and you want to just do it weekly, or if you want to do it by 3 days, like that's up to you. If you have a team at your business, you may want to store your content calendar on like a cloud program like Dropbox or Google Drive, so that all of you can work on it and get the information off of it that you need. So what exactly goes on it? I kind of touched on this already, but you can see some of the things that I post, and all of that was on my content calendar in advance, listed out like on such and such date, I'm going to post a thing about my Valentine's date in paint. It can include images of your business, products in your store with information, ad campaigns that you might be running, notifications about new blog posts, as well as links to those blog posts, live videos, customer spotlights, really anything that fits your business, you can slap on there and keep track of and know when you're going to post them. So creating your own, what exactly does this look like? I went out and I found a free template, just Google searched and found a free template and just downloaded it and then tweaked it to what I needed it to be. I use Excel to plan this out, but if you're not an Excel pro, you can do it in Word, or you can even do it with pen and paper, like I have shown a picture of on the right-hand side there. You can even you can make your own from scratch if you want on Excel or Word or any of those programs. Or you can use just like your Google Calendar. If you want to plug it into your Google Calendar or the calendar on your computer or on your phone. It's a little small on the phone to plan all of this out, so I suggest like a bigger screen. If you can do it on your computer, definitely do that. And I will give you all access to my template. So if you want to try and use my template, see if that works for you, you can do that. Right. So creating this content calendar, you need to do a couple of things to prepare before you start filling it in. You need to decide what platforms you want to post to. I personally am doing Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. Facebook and Instagram, as Elizabeth was saying, work really well together. They're owned by the same company. So you can cross-post, meaning anything you post on Instagram can immediately show up on Facebook, which is really great. And there are some programs I'm going to talk about later on about getting that all scheduled to post automatically. So maybe you're a DIY kind of company, so you want to use Pinterest, or maybe you do a lot of videos, so you want to use YouTube. You want to decide which platforms you want to include on this content calendar. How often should you post? There was a question about that. A lot of people have very strong opinions about this. I am shooting for 1 time a day, and a lot of my content goes to all of my different platforms. So I'm cross-posting the same thing on every platform every day. So it's really up to you on how often you want to post. 1 to 2 times a day is a great number, but if that is overwhelming, shoot for 3 times a week. Just go for it. Consistency is really key there, as well as quality of your content. You don't want to be slapping up a bunch of ugly pictures because you don't have time to edit them or snap good photos. You want to decide what days and times you want to post. Again, a lot of people have strong opinions about this. They say that you should send out email campaigns on Monday mornings because that's when someone's going to open up their email and check those. Maybe that doesn't work for you. Maybe you want to do it Friday evenings. I don't know. That's up to you. Do some research on your demographics, figure that out. Times of day is tricky. Maybe you're targeting moms, stay-at-home moms, and like they're going to be scrolling through Facebook at 3 o'clock in the afternoon because that's when their baby goes down for a nap. Maybe that's when you want to post. So figure out that as well. And consistency is pretty key there as well. If you post at the same time every day, your followers will kind of get used to that and know when to check in, even if they don't realize it. What categories or topics you're going to cover is important to figure out. Like I have about 12 different categories that I rotate through on my social media. That gives me a really good starting point to come up with content. For me, I've got a lot of product spotlights. I've got local artist spotlights and things like that for the store. But if you're a creative type person, you might have like pictures of my creative space. This is where I do my art, or this is where I work on my book, or whatever it is that you do. And you might want to mention like what your favorite desk chair is. Maybe that's a topic or category that you're looking into. I've seen some social media influencers use like their pets because everybody loves a cute dog picture, right? So sometimes that grabs attention and gives them awareness of your brands, whether they realize it or not. They're like, oh, look, a cute cat. Oh, I know that business. I've seen the sign in town. I'm going to stop in there. You might want to post about your events as well as events that you like to attend to. Maybe that's your topic or category. I would suggest coming up with at least 4 to 6 to start with. Big kind of overarching topics that you can come up with a lot of different content for. This might also be a good time to list your image size requirements for your different platforms as you're working through all of this. Like Instagram's very into the 1-to-1 ratio. And you know, you might need to have that written down somewhere as you're creating images. Facebook kind of does everything. TikTok's very specific. They want 9:16. You know, the vertical filming, which none of us are used to. We're all used to filming sideways. So it might be a good place to note all of those things so you know what content you're trying to create and where it's going to land. All right, so you've decided your topics. You've decided what days you want to post and all of these things. And you're ready to fill in your calendar. You can see an image on the right of actually my January 2021 calendar that's got each of my topics in the top right key. So I've got about 12 there, as well as campaigns and holidays. And then I've spaced them out on my calendar. So you've decided you want to post every day. And you've chosen 6 categories or topics. To decide how many times you post each of those topics in a month, you want to do this little math equation. You want to take the number of days in the month, which for January was 31, and the number of topics that you have, which let's say you chose 6, and that equals how many times each topic's going to get posted each month. that is 5.16. Obviously, you can't do a 0.16 post. So you may decide that you want to cover one of those topics more often than one of the others, and that's totally cool. I have a post that goes out every Monday, just like Elizabeth has a few of those, like every Wednesday we talk about this. So if you want to do something like that, cool. That fills out at least one day a week for you automatically, which is great. And then you just kind of want to plop all of the other ones onto your calendar and keep them spaced pretty evenly. You don't want to bunch up a whole bunch of one topic in 1 week or have one back to back. You want to spread it out, keep it fresh and interesting for your audience. You can see here that I've got like my newsletter that I write, a monthly newsletter that comes out, and I've got it scheduled in here on Friday the 22nd. I also include holidays to remind me when holidays are, because sometimes I forget some. So I've got all the holidays in there as well, to remind me of that. So I post something relating to that holiday. All right, there are some additional parts to this content calendar that I find really, really useful. The content repository. This is where you can list every idea you've ever had about posting anywhere. Like you're in the shower, you're washing your hair, and you're like, "Ooh, it would be really cool if I took a picture of this thing I'm working on." Put that into your content repository, because you can go in and grab those things and plug them into your calendar. Super great place, just store everything that you have. The schedule is basically where you plan your individual posts, and I'm talking pretty much the social media stuff. So like I've got a topic called quotes, and in this schedule, I put the topic name, the quote that I want to use, as well as a link to the quote to make sure it is like an actual quote, just to make sure like I'm not posting something that someone did not absolutely say. I want to go back and check. And then I also include like the image file on my computer that I've created, and then also the date. This in the title section, you can see on the right here, I've got kind of the schedule listed there. Got the account, the date, the message, the topic, the character count. In the message section, you want to include your caption, your text, your links, your hashtags, the businesses you're tagging. You want to include all of those things in the message area, just so that you can get your character count. This is important specifically for some platforms have a limit to your character count. Like we all know Twitter's got a limit. I don't know what it is. I don't Twitter. But like TikTok's got a limit of 150 characters. So when I'm writing out my message in advance, I like to have a list of all of my character counts to make sure I'm actually hitting the numbers that I need to hit, or I'm not going over. And mine's color coded. It automatically generates the color to tell me when I'm over. Yeah. Let's see, that's about it for that stuff. I was gonna try and do a link to my file. Let me see if it can still share, if you guys can still see that. I've just linked over to my content calendar file. Can you all see it?
It hasn't come up yet.
All right, let me new share then and switch over to that. Now is it there? Yes, great.
I think so.
Okay. So here is my live schedule that I have planned out, and I do I fill this in weekly rather than by the month. I don't want to sit there and write all of my messages, content, stuff like that all at once, because it starts to feel a little dry and boring for some reason to me. So I like to do that a little fresher every week. And so here's all of my scheduled posts for January. Here's my calendar that I did. You guys saw that. I don't know if this is a little bit bigger, that you can see it. I've got a February, I've got a March, got an April. Here's my running content repository. it's long. There's a lot. I like to have all of it there. These last 3, I don't really use. I feel like it's a little repetitive because all of this is already on my schedule. So I don't really use this, but I left it in there for you guys if you want to try and use it for yours, the TikTok, the Facebook, and the Instagram. Right, so that's some of my calendar stuff. Let me hop back over to my PowerPoint. All right, so the part that most of you probably are the most interested in is scheduling in advance and what exactly that means. This really automates this system really great for you. It frees up time during the week for you to focus on other tasks and specifically your customers. So there are several tools available to you for free for you to be able to schedule all of this in advance. And I do this weekly. On Sunday morning, because it's very slow in my store, I schedule all of my posts for the week using Facebook Business Suite and Facebook Creator Studio. Facebook Business Suite is my favorite for Facebook and Instagram together because it just auto loads it up. You only have to load your picture once. Apparently I can't talk today. You only have to load up your picture once, and then you can add in your messages and your hashtags and all of that once, and then it just auto posts. And you can schedule that for weeks in advance if you want to, or you can do it just by the week. That's my favorite for images and short videos under 60 seconds. Instagram gets a little cranky if you try to post a video over 60 seconds through the business suite. It's like, I can't do that. That's not allowed because that's handled differently in Instagram than it is in Facebook. For those videos that are longer, I suggest creating like a draft in your Instagram account. There's a way to start your post with a 60-second video or longer. Set it all up, and then you just back out, and it'll ask if you want to save drafts. And then you just save it to drafts and set yourself a phone reminder to be like, hey, at 12 o'clock on Thursday, I need to post this draft. Creator Studio is also great for Facebook and Instagram because you can post it both times. Same thing as Business Suite. It's a little more detailed, a little more complicated, I feel, to look at. But I use that mostly for my video posts to schedule. I just find that you have a few more tools to be able to like pick the cover image of your video before you post it. So like that image that shows up before you hit play, you can pick that image in Creator Studio, which is great. You can also add tags to it so it's easy to search for. If someone's on your page and it's like, oh, she did this really cool video. Gosh, what was the name? And they can search like any kind of information that goes with that. If you've tagged it properly, it'll pop up for them, which is cool. Again, TikTok, there's no good way to schedule posts for TikTok. It's just not possible. I haven't found a way to do it. There are some paid things out there, but I'm not willing to pay for that to happen. So I use drafts on TikTok as well. There's a way to do that. If anyone uses TikTok, you can ask me about it. I'm not certain any of you are probably going to get into TikTok. It's just really great for the art kind of stuff. Oh, well, Richard, you are. But you can talk to me about that if you want to, or if you have questions at the end. Or you can even hire someone to do all of this, pay someone to automate your posts. There are people out there that you can pay. I don't have the extra money for that. Maybe you do. I don't know. All right, so that's kind of all of it. If anybody's got any questions, I flew through that, sorry.
Wow, Hannah, I am super impressed. That calendar looked really nice, had it color-coded. I've always been impressed, but I'm super impressed now. Anybody have any questions?
The word repository.
What was that, Sarah Beth?
I had to look up the word repository.
Yeah.
That is very impressive. I mean, that was a lot.
I just wanted to add that, Hannah, I watched that video on how to clean your paintbrushes, the whole thing, and I don't even paint.
Yes.
It was just like very fascinating and very soothing and very zen.
Good.
So,
Yeah. This whole
well
content calendar helps me plan those out, so I'm not as stressed when I'm doing them.
And I would just add, I'd like to brag on both Elizabeth and Hannah, because they are two businesses that anything that they don't know, they're just kind of like a sponge that they want to go try to absorb whatever else is out there that can help them with their business. And that's just so important. But you've heard me talk about the marketing cohort and the financial literacy cohort. So Hannah really has been a guinea pig in the marketing cohort program as we've kind of piloted the program. And she has been such a model business, because anything that we said, all right, this is something that you need to look at doing, she never questioned or said, I don't really think I want to do that. She just did it. And she's made such great strides with her marketing in her business. She knows what she's doing in her business. But the one thing that we, really try to impress upon everyone is that you may know exactly what you're doing in your business, what service you're providing, what product you're providing. But again, if you are not constantly figuring out ways to promote that via a lot of different avenues, that people may not really know about what you're doing. And I think particularly right now, given the fact that, we've really kind of been on lockdown and in our homes for, months now, that it's super important to use a lot of these different methods of communicating and trying to convert people into being your clients. So Patrick isn't here tonight because he's actually in a master's program and he's in class tonight. But that's one of the things that he will do with you, is that he actually takes your business through an assessment in terms of where you are with your marketing to try to help you increase that. So, definitely we're happy to work with you in many areas, but I'm so glad that Hannah presented tonight, because, she's done a great job. TikTok is not anything that she thought she was ever going to do. But one thing we realized was, sometimes you struggle with getting followers. And so we said, well, it looks like that, using TikTok seems to be really increasing followings that then come on over to other platforms. So,
yeah. I did forget to mention one thing about Business Suite and Creator Studio. They both have a lot of analytics parts to them. So you can see what your demographics are, who's looking at your page, who's liking things, who's sharing things. It gives you a lot of information about like gender and age and all that kind of stuff, which is really great for you to know, because you might think you're targeting a different audience and you're hitting something completely different.
Perfect. Any other questions for Hannah? Hannah's shop is located on the corner of Russell Road in Maine. So if you have any need for paint supplies or art supplies, or you might want to attend a sip and paint, please visit Hannah there on the corner of Russell Road in Maine.
Or if you have marketing questions, hop in. That's fine.
Thank you, Hannah, so much for sharing. We appreciate it. And Amanda, you are now up.
All right, let me first unmute myself. First of all, I wanted to say, you guys are so impressive. Thank you for being here, and you are doing something that is a big deal, and something that I admire and is intimidating to me. So I'm tickled that you're doing it. So I'm going to try to share my screen and bear with me a little bit. So, as Tanya said, I'm now with Smith County, but I've been with Abingdon for many, many years. And my husband works at Barter Theater. We live in Abingdon, so we are huge Abingdon boosters. And I love Abingdon. I want all of you to be successful. So you're doing great. So I'm going to probably cover some things that have already been talked about. I'll try to skim through those and not waste your time, but just reiterate, these ladies are geniuses at what they do. And I've learned a lot just being here tonight. So I really appreciate it. All right, I'm going to attempt to share my screen, and give me some thumbs up if you see what I'm talking about. Awesome. Okay. So I work in tourism, and that's my area of expertise. For those of you who are in, maybe industry or some other areas, I'm going to try to make it general, but I hope you'll forgive me if I get too specific. Oops, let me go back. What I'm going to talk about today is just some fundamentals of I might say it's like passive marketing versus active marketing, but just some sort of like fundamental building blocks that I want you to remember before we move on to thinking about even paying for advertising. And the reason is your online presence is your front door on the web. And whether you're brick and mortar, whether you're a service industry, whether you're manufacturing, it doesn't matter. You need an online presence. And the why, I always like to start with the why of it. If you are not visible and searchable on the web, you are locking your front door for people to find you. And you would never open a retail store and then lock the doors and not let your customers in. So you need to think about your web presence as that. Make it as easy as possible for people to find you and shop with you or use your services or whatever it is you need. So it is that important. It is as important as anything else you do. The internet is your virtual welcome mat. You are welcoming people and engaging with them. So the tools I'm going to talk about today are, many of them are free. And then from there, you can grow and you can go on to paid things. But when we talk about website, which Elizabeth covered, and making sure it's attractive and welcoming, we talk about some small business tools for Google. We talk about the importance of online reviews, a little bit of digital advertising on a shoestring, because this is a startup challenge. And I know some of you are existing businesses. You may or may not have some money for advertising. We'll talk a little bit about digital advertising, specifically Facebook and Google. And there's a reason for those two that we'll kind of get into. I stole this picture off of Hanna's Google business listing, and I'm picking on Hanna because she does an awesome job with everything. And so I felt like this picture was really welcoming. And she is like literally laying out the welcome mat for her customers by putting that online. So well done. So there are a couple different aspects of being visible and searchable online. The first one is your website. And then we're going to talk about Google, and those are separate. Your website is findable by Google, but Google is also adding tools all the time that you need to be aware of as well. So it is possible that a customer may find you without ever actually reaching your website. And that's okay. And you shouldn't not have a website, but we're going to get into that a little bit too. Facebook, Instagram, and other social media, and these ladies have covered that really thoroughly. So we'll just kind of gloss over that. And then actually finally paid advertising. And those are sort of in order, in my opinion, of importance. And it's really important to note the first thing is you cannot just have a Facebook page and not have a website. I know a lot of businesses who do that, and some of them are successful, but my professional advice to you would be you need a separate website with a URL, even if, as Elizabeth says, even if it's just a very basic landing page. And it doesn't matter what industry you're in, it's like it's a sign of legitimacy. It is, this is a business I want to engage with. They are legit. They're not fly by night. So these are sort of the fundamentals. So getting into Google, sort of to start with. Again, I'm picking on Hanna, but this is a screenshot from this morning of when I search spot of color Abingdon. This is what I see. So you've got, and these are all the kind of the aspects I was just mentioning. You've got, first of all, the, oh, dang it. There we go. Okay. You've got the pointer. So first of all, you've got her actual website, which is the first listing. Sorry, y'all. Then you've got her Facebook page, and for some reason, her Facebook page twice. Then you've got Virginia.org, which is the state tourism agency. And then I'm very proud of this because then you've got visitabingdonvirginia.com. And that was something that was important to me that we showed up in the listings. And then on the right, you've got this information generated by Google itself. And what Hanna has done is added information to that Google listing, which is fantastic. So this is what I clicked on. When you actually go to that, you see photos that I presume Hanna uploaded, and you see the outside of the store, so you know kind of what it looks like, and it's friendly. You see pictures of the inside store and some of the products and all, and there's the sweet picture of Hanna looking so welcoming. And so all of this is, again, a lot of times if you've done your job and you've gotten your word out there, people are literally maybe just Googling for the address or the phone number, and you don't know what they're doing. But so it's very important to have all of these aspects working together and showing up when someone looks for you online. So, and the good news is, other than some hosting fees and maybe some help with website, if you need some help with that, these are all free things. It takes man hours, and I don't want to diminish that because I know that time is money. And when you're a small business owner, it's hard. You are doing it all yourself, and it is very time consuming, but it is very important. And so what I want you to take away with is, even if you don't ever spend $1 on advertising, I do want you to invest in the fundamentals and invest in the things that these ladies have talked about, because that's going to be your building blocks before you ever get to considering, paying for ads. Google, and I picked this image because it makes me crack up. So this is Monopoly. This is the Monopoly guy. However we feel about Google, in my opinion, it is definitely a monopoly. Is that good for us as a human race or bad? I don't know. But nevertheless, they own almost everything. Everything they don't own, Facebook owns. So that's the world we're living in. And they are getting into everything. So I'm sure you're aware of Google search. I think the last research I saw was from last summer, and it's like 87.9% of all search on the internet belongs to Google. So the other ones exist, but they're really a footnote. Google is where it's at. The tools that we're going to talk about today for your business, that the things that I want you to consider taking advantage of, the number one thing is Google My Business. And that's, you can also call it claim your Google listing on business. And that is, Google automatically generates information about your business if you've been open for any period of time. And they've got algorithms. I don't know where they pull it from, but they are going to pull information about you. You have the ability to go in and claim that, which means that you can have control over the photos, the business hours, the link to a website, all of that information. So you can either be passive and let Google do it for you and be at their whim, or you can claim it for yourself. And I urge you, if you don't take anything else away from this, I urge you to go ahead and claim that and own that information so that you are confident that what is showing up on Google is what you want to show up. Other tools that they do have that are, all of these are free, and the only price you pay is your data and your information. So But Google Analytics, if you have a website and you want to dig into that, there's very powerful tools to know where your website traffic is coming from and all that jazz. I would consider that kind of like stage 2. I would say if you want to get into that, that would be kind of 2.0. Advertising, again, perhaps the second step. And then they actually have an entire suite of Office products that are free. In fact, I made this presentation on Google Office products for free. So that is a powerful tool as well. You don't have to pay for a Microsoft Office suite. And more, I don't know if everybody is aware, but Google does own YouTube, and they are trying to buy up more and more. So there's a whole bunch that they offer. The number one thing, again, is Google My Business. So this is my new job. This is Smith County Tourism, and I'm going to give you this example for what not to do, because this right here, own this business, and this right here, add missing information. So Smith County Tourism does not currently own our Google listing. And so if you Google Smith County Visitor Center for whatever reason, not going to get to the website because nobody has added it. So the other pieces of this, you've got reviews. So people can review you. I'm pleased to say they enjoyed it. They gave it 5 stars. You've got directions. You've got call. If you're a retail business, there is an option here that says shop. So they fill all of this in. They fill all of this in for you. And in fact, these hours are incorrect. The visitor center, due to COVID, is not currently open. So this is something I need to work on. So this, these 2 screenshots, if you already have an existing business and if you've been in business for a while, I urge you just to Google yourself, and you will probably see something similar to what's on the left. And then you have an opportunity, if you click on Own This Business, to claim it. If you are brand new and you don't have a URL, or you don't have a functioning business yet, I would go ahead and like Elizabeth said, if you have any seriousness about it, I would go ahead and get some of those things in place. And so in that case, what you're going to do is just go to Google for small business, and you can go ahead and get started from the ground up, and you can go ahead and create this kind of listing, even if you don't exist yet, or even if you're not even open to the public yet. And I'll provide links for that later on in the presentation. So it's important to know about Google and Facebook is they make their money off of advertisers. And so it is to their advantage to help you get started on their platform. And so it's good and bad. They make their money on advertising, and so they are going to consistently lead you towards advertising. But they also offer a number of free tools as sort of the carrot to get you involved. So you can take advantage of those free tools. The next step on Google would be, I would say, Google Ads, and then Google Analytics. If you have questions about Google Ads, I'm happy to answer them. I would say it is something to consider. The example I gave here is for the Virginia Creeper Trail. The first 2 results when you Google the Virginia Creeper Trail are for bike rentals in Damascus, and those 2 businesses have clearly decided that it's important for them to be the first thing that you see when you Google that. You may look at your business and decide that that's important to direct web traffic, or that may not be important to you, but it's something. It's very cost effective. Google Ads is very scalable, so you can spend $30 a month or less, and it's pay per click. So it is very scalable, and you can do it to your budget. But I would say that would be phase 2. And Google Analytics, if you are going to invest in your website and you care about data and research, and you want to know where people are coming from, what their gender is, how long they spent on your website, which pages they liked and which pages they skipped when they got there. All of that information is free. You may need a little bit of technical help to set that up initially, but then you can log in and view it and have that information. So that is something to consider as well. Facebook and Instagram are the number one platforms for sheer number of people on the internet, and also the platforms that are geared towards advertising for you as a business owner. They are money-making platforms, and they are designed to make it very easy for you to advertise. And in fact, the algorithms have gotten to the point now where if you post organically, you have to make it really, really good content, or you have to pay for it. So, if you looked at the numbers of reach, up to 5 years ago, they're leading you more and more towards, paying to get those numbers. But I mentioned Facebook and Instagram. They are, as people have said, they're the same company now. And they are the two biggest in terms of numbers. I would say I am not on TikTok. But I would say, again, what Hanna said, look at who your audience is and then think about which platform is the best fit for them. I would say if you do nothing else, you do need a Facebook page. It's kind of almost second to having a website at all. It shows that you're a serious business, that you're out there, and it's kind of a prerequisite. If you are anywhere in the weddings or food or home and garden or fashion, you need to be on Pinterest, for example. Whereas if you are a fitness enthusiast, you probably need to be on Instagram. And my husband is on Strava, which is specifically for exercise and biking. So there's all sorts of specific ones. But I would say, if I know your time is limited and time is money and your energy is limited and your bandwidth. So if you do nothing else, then just stick with Facebook and Instagram, and don't beat yourself up for not being as good at it as Elizabeth and Hanna. Just get on there and be consistent. These are brand new. These are for Smith County Tourism. Not a ton of followers yet, but these are kind of, the fundamental. Again, Instagram is focused on photography and storytelling, and Facebook is more sort of sharing news and information. So as for the rest, I actually, when I made this presentation, I copied one that I did for the 2017 Small Business Challenge, and I left this slide in because it cracked me up. So this is the slide that I put in 2017. And two of these don't even exist anymore. So you've got Google Plus, which has gone under, and then I don't know, does Snapchat even exist? It may exist, but nobody does it. So that cracks me up. And then you've got your TikTok and your Twitter and your Reddit and all of those. And this is WhatsApp on Facebook, which I confess I haven't even explored yet. So again, all that is to say, just don't beat yourself up. If you feel led towards something and your research shows that it's a really good fit for your customers, then go for it. And listen to the research and ask people that you trust. But if you don't, then just stick with the basics. Facebook for Business, I'll kind of blow through this, but just the fundamentals again. On Facebook, use a business page, not a group or a personal page. That's just kind of best practices. You want it to be clear that this is associated with your business, and it's going to be content related to your business, not personal and not group. You're going to want to consider photography and video. And this is, again, I think covering what has been said before, but sometimes it is worth paying for good quality content. Sometimes you can create it yourself, but Facebook's algorithm is going to reward photos and videos over text. And that is because they think that people don't like to read. And they think that people like to watch videos and look at photos. So if you want to game the system, I would focus on that. Facebook, again, owns Instagram, so take advantage of that. Not only can you post to Instagram and have it shared to Facebook to save you time, you can also, within the advertising tools, any ad that you run on Facebook, you can also, there's a setting to run it on Instagram too. And that may or may not be useful for you. And I would urge you, before you consider boosting a post or something, or doing Facebook ads, it is very cost effective if you do it right. But consider that, what is your goal for doing that? Number of eyeballs seeing your post may be helpful to you if you just wanted to get awareness, but you also may want something more specific like shopping. And I did want to show you, when I spoke about Google and Facebook want to make it extremely easy for you to spend money. So they're doing that. So I'm going to include this link, but this is Facebook's Business Center. And whether you are, whether you have a business page set up or not, they're going to really guide you through it step by step. So these are, resources and articles and learning things they have. And if you go to this facebook.com/business and go to create an ad, they will actually guide you through the goals for your business. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, I would ignore everything on the first row. I don't, and you can disagree with me, and maybe it's specific to your business, but I'm going to say you don't need more messages, and I don't know that you need to boost a post, and I don't need that you need to boost an Instagram post. I would concentrate on the second row, and you need to decide, promote your page. Are you just starting, and do you just really want more likes, to reach more people? Do you want to specifically promote your business to actual customers within Abingdon or Washington County or what have you? Do you have a great website and you're ready to start promoting it and you really want to get that traffic to your website? Or do you want emails for your email newsletter? So they have specific ads where you can actually get more emails. So whatever you do, you can kind of target it to that. So say you've got an awesome website and you just want to drive traffic to it. You've got either e-commerce or maybe it's just a branding website. They're going to populate what they think is the most effective ad. And then you can change any of this. So you can change the text that it says, you can change the link. You can, and we talked about this, the audience targeting is very specific. So you can change the age range, you can change the location. Is it men? Is it women? Is it, women who are interested in knitting? It's very specific. And then you can do the budget and the timeline too. So, so that is an option for you, and they will walk you through it. Okay. So, the other thing I wanted to talk about is online reviews. And this is going to be especially important for those of you who, well, I would say it's important for everybody. TripAdvisor for anybody who's retail, lodging, restaurants, especially anything that people are traveling to do. Yelp is specific to restaurants, but again, there's Google and Facebook. They both have review functions as well. So I would encourage you to monitor your reviews. If you have a negative review, post, this is really important. If you have a negative review, post something kind and polite and ask them to take it offline. And there's great examples out there of people who did the opposite of that and they got into a whole mess. So even if it's unfair, even if they're mean, even if they're just hateful, say, thank you for your feedback. I'm so sorry you had a blah, blah, blah bad experience. May I contact you offline? Here's my personal email or phone number or whatever. If you have a great review, then do what Elizabeth said and share it everywhere. And then I would, say you can actively ask for reviews. We have some hotels in the area who do a great job with this. Every time someone is nice to them at the front desk and says, I loved this. I love that your staff was so nice. My room was so clean. They hand them a card and say, great, please leave me a review. It means so much because data shows that customers really trust online reviews and it matters to them. So you can ask your email list, you can ask your customers, you can and this is not cheating. You can ask your family and friends to leave a good review. If it's honest, don't lie, but ask your, if you brought your brother-in-law and they were your first customer, ask them to leave you a review, But be assertive about it and be deliberate about it, because people do trust that. So consider that as well. So if you take nothing else away from this, I would say digital marketing or online presence is as important as anything else you do. It is your welcome mat to the world. Make it easy for customers to find you. Do not make it hard. Something that we've really noticed during COVID at Visit Abingdon and then my new job, and I was just at the Virginia Welcome Center in Bristol, and they were saying so many businesses have changed their hours or temporarily closed, permanently closed, and they don't know whether to send somebody to you or to these businesses rather. So make sure that the information is up to date. And if you are, even if you're closed for a week because you're installing, new drywall, just, update that information, because what you don't want is for someone to Google and say, oh, they're open, like my visitor center, they're open 9 to 5, and then they show up and the door is locked and the lights are off, and you've lost them, and they may or may not ever come back. So make sure it's up to date. Google yourself regularly. Claim that business so that you control the message that's going out there. And I would say, again, explore free tools before investing in advertising, but time is money. And if you find that it is not something that you are drawn to or that you feel comfortable with doing, do consider a professional to do it. It would be worth it, especially for photography, logos, and the fundamentals. And then ask for positive reviews, because, it doesn't hurt. And I'll make sure that this slideshow is available to share, so you don't have to remember all these. But these are great resources for small businesses. Google, Facebook. If you're looking for a design professional, ask me, ask any of these ladies, or go to American Advertising Federation, Southwest Virginia. And then for those of you who are in retail, attractions, outdoor recreation, restaurant or hotel, definitely get on virginia.org. And then for TripAdvisor as well, claim your listing. And then one last thing I wanted to say is for those of you in Abingdon who might work with Tanya, if she brings a travel writer to town and she says, will you host them? You need to say yes. Because it is, I understand that it's time and it's money and it's an investment on your part and it's a gamble that you don't know what result you'll see. But I think Elizabeth can attest to the fact that if you do it regularly, you're going to get that publicity, and that is more valuable than any print ad that you could pay for. So that's my plug.
Thank you, Amanda. Amanda was with the Abingdon Visitor Center when Abingdon was voted the top small town food scene 2 years running. So that tells you a little bit about her marketing skills. We appreciate her doing that. We have Tennille on the line today. Tennille and I have worked a bigger part of today and yesterday on the Virginia Creeper Trail being voted one of the top 10 trails. So we moved from number 7 on Monday of this week, and we just hit number 1. So very excited about that. So you all continue to vote for the Virginia Creeper Trail on that. You can vote until the 15th of February. So that is another a great component of the marketing portion. If you can get some sort of accolades like that other people can help promote you as well. So does anybody have any questions for Elizabeth or Hannah or Amanda?
I just want to say it's good to see you, Amanda. I enjoyed listening to you tonight. It's Sarah Beth.
Oh, hey, Sarah Beth. Thank you.
Good to see you.
I know. I miss you.
Tanya Donald has his hand raised.
Okay, Don, what you got?
I'd like to ask Elizabeth what was her email address.
Maybe Sandy could put that back up on the screen for you,
Yeah.
or she's going to share the slides with you.
Yeah. Just tell me what it is. I'm writing it down.
All right, Elizabeth Hill, HILL Gardner, GARDNER @gmail. And I'm glad that Amanda brought up the Google, because I did mean to put that in my presentation. So it is, I will definitely second that. It's important to claim your listing. And that's the first thing everyone does. They pick up the phone and they Google your business. And so, it's important before they even get to their website, that Google listing is what comes up. So that's very important. So I'm glad that she focused a lot on that. Good job, Amanda. Good to see you.
You too.
And lots of people think TripAdvisor is just for restaurants and hotels, but if you go on TripAdvisor at the bottom, you can always see other things to do. Mm-hmm. We are kind of lacking in that, so please go on TripAdvisor and add your business to that as well.
I think between the three presenters tonight, you got some really good marketing information for your business plan. And I know Sandy's going to post this video, but marketing is an important factor in development of your business plan. So, make sure that you have a good showing of marketing in your written plan.
Well, never mind.
Did you have another question, Dawn? You can ask any question you want to.
What I saw tonight was all digital. Everything was digital. So let me ask you, when was the last time you either wrote or received a handwritten letter from someone with whom you do business?
I got Christmas cards from some people, which was great. And I also write thank yous to people who might have helped me set up my business. I've written some thank yous for that as well. So that's my answer.
Well, it's so rare that someone thanks you for their money or your business. And it's simple. You just say, just a note to thank you for your business, and I wish you every possible success. Best regards. That's all there is to it. But nobody does it. So it separates you from everybody, because everybody's wanting to do digital, and here you are writing a nice little letter to someone to thank them. How important that is that you recognize me as somebody that was important to you. And nobody does it. That means you're standing out from everybody else.
I think, Don, that's a good point. And I think that I want to be really clear that it's not an either or. I think it needs to be both. And so whether it's a handwritten note or nothing that we've talked about today is a substitute for customer service. It's in addition to. So the quality of the experience or the product that you deliver, that is the core to everything. And I will go ahead and say that if you don't have a quality product and a quality customer service experience, then nothing that any of us have said tonight is going to matter, because it's going to be false. So it's both. But what I would encourage you to think of is it's not either or. The quality of customer service or of contact or personal connection that you have with your customers, you need to also translate that into your online presence, because whether we like it or not, or agree with it or not, that is where a lot of activity is happening. So I would just, the authenticity that I am sensing from you as somebody that you want that personal, authentic connection, I just want to encourage you to expand that and take it online as well.
Richard, you had a question?
Yeah. First of all, I'm going to follow up with all of you individually. It's nice to have panelists that I've worked with and know and enjoy. One of the questions I had for kind of everyone is I need more resources for the SEO. I've had one product that was a top Google search result, and that essentially saved my life. And I don't really know how that one got such high SEO and not the others. And I was wondering if there were other resources I should look at, because that's kind of a weak point for me that I need to learn more on.
I'll just say that's a weak point for me too. So I don't know much about SEO, but what I've heard is that, like I mentioned before, that the more content that you have, Google will pick up on certain keywords and how many times do you mention that on your website. And that's why blogs are so important, is because you get all that content. So so I know that, and you want to have like a certain amount of text, on each page, because that's what the Google scanners are looking for. They're looking for particular, just particular words and how many times they come up. And, but yeah, I can't speak too much to SEO. That's not something but I have a lot more to learn in that area. But just from what the classes that I've taken, they just highlight the importance of the websites and, just how much text that you have and links and things like that. In Weebly, what I was saying, this really simple website, they do have every page. It does have like an SEO section. Okay, well, what are the keywords that you want to highlight on this page? So I know that helps. And I'm sure there's things in Google Analytics that can help with that. I can't really speak to that. But anyway, that's my 2 cents, which is not terribly helpful.
Richard, if you want to reach out to us at the SBDC, I think we probably got something that can help you with that.
I just wanted to add on, I'm not an expert, and I don't know that there's a magic bullet about it, but I think what I've read is that there's no shortcut. It's creating quality content on a consistent basis that gets your website up in the rankings. There is a Google tool that I did not mention that it's kind of more advanced. It's called Google Search Console, CONSOLE, and it's free. And you can get to it through, your Google account, and you can link it to your website. And one of the things that it can tell you is search volume, like what people are searching for. So I would say this is a little bit more of an advanced tool, but that is an option and it is free. But yeah, I think, just writing blog posts and just, building and building and building is the advice I would have.
I know a lot of the website hosting, like you said, Weebly's got an SEO helper. Wix also has that. Most of those, I think, have that built in nowadays. But here's one weird, quirky tip that I have started using is naming my images that I post with descriptive text. So whatever it is that I post, if it's image of paint, I describe what type of paint. It's acrylic paint. That's the name of that image. For some reason that helps. Sometimes it pops it up on like Google image searches, like that's how that works. So that's an interesting thing that you can just kind of start adding in.
About that blog, I've heard that too, that the blog, keeping a blog helps with an SEO because of the backlinks and the keyword, but there's not like another step in between doing the blog and better SEO. Is there kind of just, you have backlinks, you use the keywords that you're hoping the search engine associates with your business, and you just kind of hope for the best with the blog?
I think it needs to be relevant, and you need to think of it as a multi-purpose tool. So I would not, it could be really time consuming. I wouldn't write a blog post just for SEO. but I would consider, and it doesn't have to be a separate blog. It can be just a page on your website. But I would consider writing something that you feel is relevant to your potential customers, and then get multi-use out of it. So then you can also post that on Facebook, and that checks one box at the Facebook post. And then you can, maybe make a 30-second video that goes with it, that links to it. And then it also helps with SEO. And you could do an email newsletter that's like, hey, new blog post. So because time is so limited, try to get as many uses as possible out of it. And then I just confess I am not an SEO expert, and it's always been kind of gravy. Like, I think if you do the work and you build the customer base and you have the quality content and you invest in the website, then it just kind of grows over time, if that makes sense.
Okay, do we have any other questions? Maybe some information that you have found works for something that you're already doing that you'd like to share. I love Elizabeth's suggestions on the partnerships and promoting each other. That's extremely important. Okay, Sandy, I guess we'll turn it back over to you.
Well, I'll be short and sweet. Thanks, everybody. It's hard to believe this is session 4. By the way, how many of you all have been working on your pitch? Excellent. Remember, you got 8 minutes. Next week, at the end of the session, we will have a knockdown drag out to see in what order the pitch contest will be made. Will be done on the 6th night. So I will say, don't wait to be last, but think about that. And if you need any help between now and the next 2 weeks on working on your pitch, or you just want to talk to any of the team about that, let us know. And I think after the first session, Nita sent out a link of other classes, not just in Washington County, but in other counties, that showed you how they pitch their business idea. That is very important to you. That's why it's part of the exercise for this challenge. And that's when you're going to a lender or even maybe a supplier. This is the things that you need to look at and pitching your business idea. So the better you know your product and service, and you can share that in 8 minutes, the better off you'll be. And don't forget your business plan too. That's a critical component of your this whole challenge. So don't be waiting until the night before. We have seen people that it appears that they've done that, and I will say that they did not do well at all. And if you've invested 6 weeks into these sessions, please don't scrimp there. Put your best and brightest forward in doing that business plan too. And again, there's help there if you need it. We've also got the link to resources online in the Dropbox folder for the challenge that you can use. So please don't wait till the last minute. I will say next week is all about the money. And we have a banker, a nonprofit that has a micro lending program, and a representative of a community development financial institution. So there's going to be 3 folks here on the panel that you can ask questions about what they look at when you come to them seeking financing. And please use that time to your advantage. Again, the whole thing of this business challenge is to prepare you as you either launch a new business, but as you continue to expand that. And our whole goal is to keep you successful in Washington County and the towns of Abingdon, Damascus, and Glade Spring.
Sandy, I did think of one thing.
Tell me.
I think we may have a pitch winner on camera tonight. Do we have someone who maybe has won a pitch in the past?
That's true. We do.
That's me.
So, and she said if you wanted to stop by and ask questions, do that. But the ball's in your court. We can only share the information unless you reach out to us for help. There's nothing else we can do. We're trying to give you the tools, but we definitely want to see you be successful in this. So I think it's time for potato chips and a Coke, and the couch is yelling. It's time for my couch duty in the evening. So everybody be safe. I think we've got some winter coming, but it's 39 days until spring. Yes, I have been counting since winter started. And anybody that knows me knows that I just love winter. Not. So thanks to everybody. And thanks to our presenters.
All of our presenters. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing your time. I know it takes a lot of time to put these presentations together, and it's taken away from your business. So we greatly appreciate it. So thank you. And that's all, folks.